Hello, once again we're here at Creative Social, and tonight the theme is By Day and By Night, and we've got the great opportunity to speak with one of the speakers. So good evening. Who are you, where do you work, what do you do?
Hey, I'm Aaron Child. I work at Lean Mean Fighting Machine at the moment. Although I'm moving to VCCP, but doing a similar role as a senior community manager, working on their social stuff there.
Oh great, okay. And how did you get into I guess you're in the communications industry really. What was your first role and how did you get into it?
My first role was at agency similar to Lean Mean Fighting Machine, digital agency called Hyper Naked, which is now Naked Comms, and that was a community manager role. There's quite a lot of sort of promotion and social stuff for brands. So I started working for Foster's, which is a lager brand, and doing all their social stuff along with a small vodka brand. So yeah, my background before that was in music and production, music and promotion and live events, and that sort of helped me get into the social stuff for Hyper Naked.
So I guess 2 years ago there wasn't no such thing really as community manager or social media manager.
Yeah, that's right. So when I saw the job spec sort of got emailed to me, I didn't really fully understand what it was about, but I read through it and I was like, I've been doing that for a fair few years, which I think a lot of people had been doing. You know, they've been promoting brands, working for brands, certainly working on social spaces for brands and events and stuff like that. But it wasn't so formal. So this was my first sort of formalised community manager role. I've sort of taken it on from there.
And do you think it's important to develop a range of skills in the early stages of your career? I mean, you just talked about a few of them, and then you got this job. So is that something you worked on? It just came naturally?
I think it sort of came naturally. I've always been, not to use the sort of phrase of like fingers in pies, but I've always been wanting to do different things outside of my day job. And before I worked at Hyper Naked as my first sort of community manager role, I was doing a lot of different roles. Didn't have one job, I had like 6. Lots of those were just working for free, just to try and build up my CV and get those skills that I needed to potentially build up something bigger. So yeah, it's really important. I say it's really important, but I also have a lot of respect for people who just do one big thing and they throw themselves in it fully. But I've always been lots of little things. That's what I've been involved in. So.
I think this is kind of an obvious question, but good for you to answer.
Yeah.
In showcasing your skills and your work and getting yourself noticed, what kind of advice could you give to someone who wants to get into a role like yours? Use social media?
Yeah, I guess so. I'd say like think about what you want to get out of whatever you're doing, even if it's you want to get a job but you don't know where or what type of job it is. Think about what you want that potential employer or person to see of you and how you put yourself forward, and whether it's in an interview situation. Like I didn't have this amazing website or profile. It was just I had an interview, but it's how I brought myself across in that interview. So what are the key things you want them to take away? So think about that before you go into any situation, or before you do a project, or before you have your CV online or whatever it is, and then just tick them off one by one. And yeah, just be sure of what you want the takeout to be for you personally. So I want to work in the communications industry, I want to work in a high-paid job, or I just want to get a job. And I want that person to think of me as this whatever individual. But yeah, have those points set out before, have like a little strategy. I think too often people just do stuff and see what happens, but I think you need to be a bit more methodical with it. But yeah, that's my advice anyway, yeah.
And if you were recruiting someone for a community manager role, how would you go about that? What would you be looking for?
I'd probably look for someone who it's obviously sort of got the basics covered, but past that, I think a lot of community managers can be quite head down in their role, looking at the computer. It's all about a social platform. But I look for someone who takes inspiration and knowledge from elsewhere. So not just in marketing or social media, but out there in the big wide world, in music, in art. What things have you seen you've liked, and what can you draw on? Also someone who's probably got like life experience. I think that can often be, just thrown by the wayside. I think it's really important to say, well, I've been to this place, I did this, I worked with this person for free, or I studied this in my spare time. And I guess that's important to me because I've done it myself. And that keeping those little fingers in pies. Yeah. So yeah, life experience is a main one, and looking for inspiration outside of the social realm for me.
That's brilliant. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no
and
worries.
if you're on Twitter, can anyone connect up with you or follow you anywhere?
Yeah. If you want to follow me and put up my jokes, it's Aaron Child, so it's AARONCHILD.
Great.
Cool.
Thanks so much.
No worries. Thanks.
Source LF are London's leading creative communications and media recruitment agency. Be sure to like our video and subscribe to this channel. Take the moment to watch another of our videos on screen now.